I was returning from the notary in a good mood, eager to tell my daughter and son-in-law that my brother had left me a villa on the oceanfront and 2 apartments. But when I approached the house, I heard their voices through the window. What I heard next made me freeze in horror. Before we continue, we ask you to hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We would like to get to know our audience better. He doesn't even understand what he's sitting on, Cecilia said, her voice sharp with excitement. 3 properties, Philip, 3, and he'll just let them rot. Not if we move fast. That was Samuel, my son-in-law. His voice had that smooth, calculated tone I'd heard him use on clients. Power of attorney. We tell him it's for management purposes, help him with the paperwork. Then we list the villa before he even knows what's happening. Can we do that legally? Baby, I work in finance. There are always ways. The old man's 61, just lost his brother. He's vulnerable. Courts love the concerned family narrative. I stood on my own front porch, keys in hand, listening to my daughter and her husband plot to steal my inheritance. The ocean wind cut through my jacket, but I barely felt it. 33 years as a firefighter taught me to read situations fast. This wasn't just greed. This was a calculated attack. What about Amanda? Cecilia asked. She's not family. No legal standing if we act before he includes her in anything. My wife. They were planning around Amanda like she was furniture. I took a breath, then another. In a fire, panic spreads faster than the flames. I'd learned that lesson when I was 23 and green. Now, at 61, I knew better. I put my smile back on and opened the door. Hey, you two, I called out, cheerful as Sunday morning. Guess who just became a property mogul? Cecilia's face lit up with what I now recognized as performance. She rushed over and hugged me. Dad, tell us everything. We sat in the living room, the same room where I'd taught her to ride a bike in the driveway outside, where Amanda and I had hosted her wedding reception 3 years ago. Samuel poured drinks. I watched his hands, steady and confident. A man who thought he was smarter than everyone else in the room. 2 apartments downtown, I said, accepting the glass. Decent rental income if I want it. And the villa, 10 minutes from here, right on the cliff edge. Michael always loved that view. That's incredible, Philip. Samuel leaned forward. Have you thought about management? Property oversight can be complex. Insurance, maintenance, tax implications. I figured I'd handle it myself. Of course. But if you ever need help with paperwork, power of attorney arrangements, that sort of thing, I'm happy to assist. Family rate. He smiled. Perfect teeth, perfect hair, perfect sociopath. That's generous, I said. I'll keep it in mind. Cecilia's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then at Samuel. Something passed between them, quick as a spark. We should celebrate properly, she said. Dinner tomorrow? Our treat? Amanda and I would love that. After they left, I sat in the growing dark. The window where I'd overheard them faced west, toward the ocean, the same ocean that bordered my new villa. Michael had lived there for 20 years, alone after his wife was gone, watching the water every morning. He left it to me with a simple note. You always knew how to build something that lasts. I wondered if he'd known what kind of daughter I'd raised, or what kind of man she'd married. Amanda came home an hour later, grocery bags in both arms. She took one look at my face and set them down. What happened? I told her everything. She listened without interrupting, one of the countless reasons I'd married her 5 years ago, after Claire was gone. Amanda processed information like she'd processed everything during her 30 years as a principal, methodically, completely, and with absolute clarity. When I finished, she sat back and steepled her fingers. They're going to push hard, she said. Samuel especially. He's the type who mistakes kindness for weakness. I know. And Cecilia? Yeah. I looked away. I know that too. Amanda reached over and took my hand. Her grip was firm, warm, real. Then we need to be smarter, colder, and we need to document everything. I'm listening. Tomorrow's dinner, she said. We go, we smile, and we watch them make mistakes. The restaurant was expensive, the kind of place with tiny portions and wine lists thicker than phone books. Samuel had chosen it, naturally. Everything about him screamed image over substance. The designer watch, the practiced handshake, the way he pulled out Cecilia's chair with performative chivalry. We ordered. Amanda complimented Cecilia's dress. I asked Samuel about work. We played our roles perfectly, a happy family celebrating an unexpected windfall. The interrogation started with the appetizers. So, Philip, Samuel said, swirling his wine, have you seen the villa yet? Property condition? Went this morning, solid structure. Michael kept it maintained. What about the apartments? Both occupied. Good tenants, lease renewals coming up. You'll want a property manager for those. This from Cecilia, casual as weather talk. I have contacts, people who specialize in portfolio oversight. Portfolio. Like 3 properties made me some kind of real estate tycoon. I was thinking of managing them myself, I said. I've got time now. Dad, you just retired. You should be relaxing, not dealing with tenant complaints and repair calls. I spent 33 years running into burning buildings. I think I can handle a leaky faucet. Samuel laughed, but his eyes stayed calculating. Of course. But there are legal considerations. Tax structures. You'll need someone to review documents, set up proper LLC protection. That's what lawyers are for. Lawyers charge by the hour. He leaned in, confidential. Family helps for free. I could take a look at the deed transfers, make sure everything's properly titled, maybe set up a trust to protect Amanda's interests. There it was, the opening move disguised as concern. That's thoughtful, Amanda said, her voice warm as honey. Though I'm sure Philip has everything under control. Oh, absolutely. Samuel backed off with practiced ease. Just offering. It's what family does, right? After dinner, Cecilia excused herself to the restroom. Amanda followed 30 seconds later. I watched Samuel watch them go, his face settling into something harder when he thought no one was looking. You raised a smart daughter, he said. I like to think so. Ambitious, too. She wants more than a regional real estate license, national certification, maybe even commercial properties. He paused. That takes capital. I imagine it does. This inheritance, it's a game changer for all of us, for Cecilia's career, for your retirement, for building something lasting. He met my eyes. Michael would have wanted the family to benefit, don't you think? Michael had wanted me to have a home with a view. He'd put it in writing. I'm sure he would have, I said. When Amanda and Cecilia returned, Amanda's face was carefully neutral, but her left hand made a small gesture against her purse. Our old signal. She'd found something. We said our goodbyes in the parking lot. Cecilia hugged me tight. I love you, Dad, she said. I love you too, honey. I meant it. That was the part that burned. In the car, Amanda opened her phone and showed me the photos she'd taken. Cecilia's purse, left hanging on the bathroom hook. Amanda had been quick, professional. 3 images, all crystal clear. The first showed a folder labeled Morrison Properties, Preliminary Listing. The second showed a property evaluation form, already filled out for the villa. Estimated value, comparative market analysis, suggested listing price. All dated 2 days before Michael passed. The third showed a draft power of attorney document with my name on it. The signature line was blank, but the authorization scope was comprehensive. Bank accounts, property transfers, medical decisions, everything. She was carrying these to dinner, Amanda said quietly. Just in case. I looked at the photos for a long time. The ocean road home was dark, fog rolling in from the water. I drove carefully, thinking about fire behavior, how it starts small, how it spreads when you don't contain it, how sometimes the only way to stop it is to cut off its oxygen supply completely. "We need help," I said finally. "Someone who knows the system." Amanda nodded. I might know someone. The fog was thick the next morning, the kind that reduced the world to gray shapes and distant sounds. I drove to the villa, my new villa, winding along the coastal highway with the Pacific somewhere to my left, invisible in the mist. Michael's place, my place now, sat on a cliff edge north of town. The driveway curved through wind-bent pines, opening onto a clearing where the house waited. Cedar shingle siding, weathered silver by salt air, wide windows facing the ocean, a garage big enough for 2 cars and a workshop. I sat in the truck for a minute, engine ticking as it cooled. This was real. This was mine. And someone wanted to take it. The interior smelled like Murphy's oil soap and old books. Michael had been a reader, a thinker, the kind of man who could spend a whole day just watching waves. We'd been different that way. I'd always needed motion, purpose, action, but we'd understood each other. His note was still on the kitchen counter, weighted down by a coffee mug. You always knew how to build something that lasts. I walked through the rooms slowly, methodically, the way I'd learned to assess structures. Good bones, solid foundation, roof less than 5 years old. The deck off the master bedroom needed some boards replaced, but that was cosmetic. The real value was the location, a 1/4 acre of clifftop privacy with unobstructed ocean views. In this market, probably worth $700,000, maybe more. No wonder they wanted it. My phone rang. Amanda. "I called Leanne Hayes," she said. "Remember her?" I did. 3 years ago, a kitchen fire in a downtown apartment building. Small woman, maybe 5 feet tall, carrying an unconscious cat and crying about documents. I'd gone back in for a fireproof file box she'd described, found it under a collapsed bookshelf, got it out. Later she'd told me it contained her immigration papers, her son's birth certificate, things that couldn't be replaced. "She works at the Notary office now," Amanda continued. "I asked if she'd talk to us, off the record." "And?" "She said she owes you a debt." Her words. We met Leanne that afternoon at a coffee shop downtown, the kind with local art on the walls and handwritten menu boards. She was older than I remembered, with threads of gray in her black hair, but her eyes were sharp. "Mr. Morrison," she said, shaking my hand. "Mrs. Morrison, thank you for meeting. Thank you for agreeing to talk." She ordered tea, then pulled out a tablet. "I'm going to be direct. What I'm about to tell you could cost me my job. But I've seen your daughter's name cross my desk twice in the last week, and the pattern is concerning." "Concerning how?" "Real estate agents have ethical obligations, disclosure requirements. One of them is conflict of interest. You can't represent yourself or immediate family in a transaction without explicit written disclosure to all parties, and often an independent review." "She hasn't represented me in anything," I said. "No, but she conducted a preliminary title search on your villa 3 days before your brother passed, then attempted to access your inheritance documentation the day after the notary appointment." Amanda leaned forward. "How did she access it?" "She didn't. I flagged it as irregular and required additional verification. But the attempt was there." Leanne scrolled through her tablet. "This morning, I saw another search. The 2 apartments. Same pattern." "Can she do anything with those searches?" "Not legally, but information is power in real estate. Knowing assessment values, tax situations, existing liens, it gives advantages." I thought about Samuel's smooth questions at dinner. Tax structures, LLC protection. He hadn't been offering help. He'd been fishing for information they didn't have yet. "What do I need to do?" I asked. Leanne pulled out a business card and wrote on the back. 3 things. First, file a notice of sole ownership with the county clerk. It's public record that you're the only authorized party for any transactions. Second, Inform the HOA at the villa. They have strict policies about unauthorized showings or access. Third, set up alerts with your bank for any unusual access attempts or signature verification requests. She slid the card across. And fourth, unofficially, document everything. Dates, times, conversations. If this goes where I think it's going, you'll need evidence. Where do you think it's going? They'll push for power of attorney. When that fails, they'll try to prove you're incapable of managing the properties yourself. When that fails... She paused. People get creative and desperate. We thanked her and left. The fog was lifting as we drove home, burning off to reveal clear blue sky. The kind of day that made you think everything would be okay. I knew better. That night, I got the first bank alert. Someone had attempted to verify my signature on a document I'd never signed. The bank flagged it as potential fraud and locked down any changes pending my in-person verification. I called them immediately, confirmed my identity, and set up two-factor authentication on everything. Then I sat at the kitchen table with Amanda and started a timeline. Every conversation, every interaction, every strange moment with Cecilia and Samuel over the past 3 weeks. Patterns emerged. The unexpected visit the day after Michael passed. Cecilia asking about my health, my memory, whether I was handling things okay. Samuel's questions about my estate plans. They'd been setting the groundwork before I even knew I had an inheritance to protect. Tomorrow, Amanda said, closing the notebook. We file the paperwork Leon suggested. We make this official. They'll know we're onto them. Good. Let them know. She stood, stretched, looked at me with the same steel I'd seen when she dealt with problem parents at school. You spent your career fighting fires, Philip. Time to use those skills. I thought about fire behavior again. How you controlled it. How you starved it. How you watched it collapse. The paperwork went through in 2 days. Notice of sole ownership filed and recorded. HOA notification sent via certified mail. Bank accounts locked down tighter than a submarine. Every action documented, dated, signed. Cecilia called on the 3rd day. Dad, we need to talk. Her voice had an edge I hadn't heard before. Not quite anger, but close. Sure, honey. What's up? I tried to schedule a showing at the villa for potential buyers. The HOA shut me down. Were you authorized to schedule a showing? Silence. Then, I'm a real estate agent. I was trying to help you evaluate market interest. I didn't ask you to. Dad. Her voice shifted, became pleading. I'm trying to help. This property could sell for $750,000. That's your retirement, your security. But these things take time, and the market moves fast. I need access to prepare it properly. I'm not selling. What? The villa. I'm not selling it. More silence. I could almost hear her recalibrating. Okay, she said finally. Okay, that's fine. It's your property. But at least let me do an assessment. Professional photos, staging consultation, free of charge, for when you're ready. I'll think about it. Dad, I said I'll think about it. She hung up. I looked at Amanda, who'd been listening on speaker. She's panicking, Amanda said. Good. That afternoon, I drove to the villa and walked the perimeter. Everything looked normal, doors locked, windows secure. But something felt off, the way you could sense a fire smoldering behind walls before you saw smoke. I checked the garage. Unlocked. I'd locked it myself yesterday. I was sure of it. Nothing inside seemed disturbed, but I'd been a firefighter long enough to trust my instincts. Someone had been here. I went through the house room by room. No obvious entry, no missing items. But small things were wrong. A kitchen drawer slightly open, a bathroom towel refolded differently, the bedroom closet door ajar. Someone had been measuring spaces, taking photos, planning staging. I called the HOA president, a retired lawyer named Dorothy Wu. Philip, is everything all right? I think someone accessed my property without authorization. That's a serious violation. Do you know who? I told her about Cecilia, about the attempted showing, about finding the garage unlocked. We have security camera footage at the main gate, Dorothy said. Give me an hour. She called back in 45 minutes. Your daughter's car entered at 10:15 a.m. yesterday. She was with a man, late 30s, driving. They left at 11:40. Both those times coincide with your property access. Can you send me the footage? Already in your email, Philip? She paused. I've been doing HOA management for 20 years. This kind of thing, family disputes over property, it gets ugly fast. Whatever you're planning, be smart about it. I intend to be. The footage was clear. Cecilia and Samuel walking up to the villa. Samuel using a key, probably one he'd copied before I changed the locks, or possibly one Cecilia had kept from Michael's estate. Them inside for over an hour, leaving with tablets and camera equipment. I forwarded everything to Leon, to Dorothy, and to my lawyer. Then I called Samuel directly. Philip, how are you? I'm curious about something. Did you and Cecilia visit the villa yesterday? A beat. Yeah, briefly. Cecilia wanted to check the property condition. Agent's eye, you know how it is. With whose permission? Well, family access. We didn't think you'd mind. I mind. His voice cooled. Come on, Philip. We're trying to help you. That property needs maintenance, needs preparation if you ever want to monetize it. We were being proactive. You were trespassing. Trespassing? It's a family property. It's my property, sole ownership, documented and filed, and you entered without authorization. I kept my voice level. Don't do it again. You're being paranoid. Jesus, we're family. Then act like it. I hung up before he could respond. Amanda had been watching from the doorway. That's going to escalate things. I know. They'll push back harder. Let them. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stood on the deck at the villa where I'd driven after the call with Samuel. The ocean was calm, moonlight painting silver paths across the water. Michael had stood here every morning with his coffee. Had he felt peace, or just emptiness after his wife was gone? My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You're making a mistake. Family takes care of family. I didn't respond. I saved the screenshot instead. Another text. You won't always have the advantage, old man. Then, check your truck. I went down the driveway slowly, phone flashlight cutting through darkness. The truck looked fine. But when I circled to the driver's side, I saw it. All 4 tires slashed. Clean cuts. Professional. Someone had been here within the last hour. I called the police, filed a report, got photos, then I called Amanda. I'm staying here tonight, I said. At the villa, they wanted to scare me away. I'm not leaving. I'm coming over. No, stay at home, keep everything locked. This is about intimidation. Philip, please. She heard something in my voice. Okay, but I'm 1 call away. I spent the night in Michael's house, my house, watching the driveway through the window. Around 3 a.m., a pickup truck drove slowly past the gate. Dark color, no plates visible. It paused for maybe 10 seconds, then drove on. I took photos anyway. By morning, I'd made a decision. This wasn't just about protecting property anymore. This was about drawing a line so clear that crossing it would cost them everything they valued. Their reputation, their licenses, their carefully constructed life of image and status. If they wanted to play with fire, I'd show them what a real firefighter could do. I converted the villa into my command center. First step, title protection. I set up alerts with the county recorder's office for any attempted filings or lien searches against my properties. Anything triggered an immediate notification to me and my lawyer. Second, financial lockdown. Amanda and I created a revocable trust with her as co-trustee. Every property transferred into it. Any sale required both signatures, both present, with notarized verification. Third, evidence collection. I installed cameras at the villa, gate, driveway, entrances, all cloud-backed, all legally posted with notification signs. Leon helped with the fourth step, regulatory compliance. She walked me through HOA bylaws, city ordinances, property codes, every inspection, every permit, every certification my properties needed. I got them all, documented everything. I was building a fortress of paperwork. Cecilia tried to call 4 times that week. I didn't answer. She showed up at the house on Thursday afternoon while I was at the villa. Amanda handled it. "He's not here," Amanda told her. "Where is he?" "Managing his properties." "Mom, Amanda, please. I need to talk to him. This is getting out of hand." "You trespassed. You slashed his tires. You sent threatening texts." "I didn't. That wasn't me. That was—" Cecilia stopped. "That was Samuel?" Cecilia looked away. "Things are complicated." "They're really not," Amanda said. "Your father owns property. You want it. That's not complicated. That's theft." "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" Cecilia's face crumbled. For a second, she looked 12 again, caught in a lie about homework. "We need this," she said quietly. "Samuel's business. We made some investments. Bad ones. We're underwater on the house. My commission structure changed, and I'm barely making rent on the office lease. Dad's inheritance, it's your bailout. Our survival." Amanda stared at her. When she spoke, her voice was gentler than I'd expected. "Then you should have asked, honestly, instead of scheming." He would have said no. "You don't know that." "I do." Cecilia wiped her eyes. "Because I'm not his real daughter anymore. Not since you married him. I'm just Cecilia, the disappointing reminder of Mom." "That's not true, isn't it? He calls you his partner, his equal. What am I?" Amanda opened the door wider. "Come inside. Let's talk." But Cecilia shook her head. "Too late. Samuel's already filed something, some kind of petition. He won't tell me what." She left before Amanda could respond. I found out what Samuel filed the next morning. A complaint to Adult Protective Services alleging that I was showing signs of cognitive decline and making erratic financial decisions under the influence of a new spouse with financial motives. It was brilliant in a sociopathic way. No direct confrontation, no illegal action. Just a concerned son-in-law worried about his elderly father-in-law's sudden property management decisions and social isolation. The APS caseworker called to schedule an evaluation. "This is standard procedure, Mr. Morrison," she said. "We have to follow up on all reports." "I understand." "The evaluation includes cognitive testing, a home visit, and financial review. It's non-invasive, but we take these concerns seriously." "When?" "Next Tuesday work for you?" "Tuesday's fine." I hung up and called my doctor. Got a full physical scheduled for Monday. Cognitive testing, memory evaluation, the works. I'd pass. I knew I'd pass. But I wanted documentation before APS showed up. Then I called Dorothy Wu. "They're trying to paint me as incompetent," I told her. "That's dirty pool." "Can I get character references? Property management verification?" "I'll draft a letter today. You've been more responsive and professional in 3 weeks than some owners are in 3 years. I gathered everything else. Bank statements showing careful management, property inspection reports, rental agreements I'd personally reviewed and updated, tax filings, insurance policies, a paper trail of competence. Samuel had made a tactical error. He'd opened an official process, which meant official records, which meant documentation, which meant I could use it all. The APS evaluation on Tuesday lasted 2 hours. The caseworker, a tired woman named Patricia Vega, was thorough but fair. She administered cognitive tests, asked about my daily routine, reviewed my financial management practices. I showed her everything: the organized filing system, the maintenance schedules, the tenant communication logs. Amanda sat beside me, calm and professional. "Mr. Morrison," Patricia said at the end, "I see no indicators of cognitive decline. Your property management is exemplary. Your financial decisions are sound. So the complaint will be noted as unfounded. However, she paused. I have to ask, the person who filed it, your son-in-law, are you in any danger from him? I thought about the slashed tires, the threatening texts, the trespassing. He's aggressive, I said, but I'm handling it. Please be careful. Family disputes over money can escalate quickly. After she left, I sat down and drafted a letter. To Cecilia and Samuel, formal, clear, final. It detailed every violation: trespassing, unauthorized property access, attempted fraud, filing a false APS report. It cited documentation for each incident, and it ended with an ultimatum. Any further interference with my property or person will result in immediate legal action. This includes restraining orders, civil suits for damages, and reporting to professional licensing boards. You have crossed from family disagreement into criminal harassment. Stop now. I had my lawyer review it, make it harder, sharper. Then I sent it certified mail. 2 days later, photos started circulating among local real estate agents. The ones I'd taken of Cecilia's unauthorized showing attempt, the HOA shutdown, the ethics violation. I didn't post them, but someone did. Someone who'd been at the showing, who'd seen a real estate agent try to list her own father's property without authorization. Cecilia's brokerage called me on Friday. Mr. Morrison, this is Steve Hartley, principal broker at Coastal Elite Realty. I need to discuss a situation involving your daughter. I'm listening. We've received several complaints. Ethics violations, conflict of interest, unauthorized property access. These are serious allegations. They're also documented. Silence. Then, we're conducting an internal review. Cecilia has been placed on administrative leave pending investigation. How long does that take? Typically 30 days. If the violations are confirmed, she'll face discipline ranging from additional training to license suspension. Thank you for letting me know. After I hung up, I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, just cold certainty. This was just the first domino. Samuel's retaliation came on a Tuesday night. I was at the villa reviewing rental applications for one of the apartments when my phone lit up with alerts, bank notifications, 3 of them. Large withdrawal attempts from accounts connected to the trust, all denied. Our security measures held, but the attempts were sophisticated. Someone with detailed knowledge of our financial structure. I called the bank's fraud department. They traced the attempts to an IP address at a mortgage company downtown, Samuel's employer. We've flagged the accounts, the fraud investigator said, but I'd recommend filing a police report. This is attempted identity theft. I did. That same night. Gave them everything. The IP trace, the bank records, the timeline of Samuel's harassment. The detective who took my statement was young but sharp. This is building toward something, he said. Financial fraud, harassment, property disputes. Has he threatened you directly? I showed him the texts from the burner phone. You won't always have the advantage, old man. That's a threat. Vague, but a threat. Have you seen him near your property? The truck that circled at 3 a.m. I have photos. License plate? Too dark. He made notes. I'll add this to the file. But Mr. Morrison, be careful. Men like this, when they're cornered financially, they make bad decisions. I drove home thinking about bad decisions. About how Samuel had married my daughter for her earning potential and family connections. How Cecilia had married him for status and ambition. How neither of them understood that some things couldn't be bought or stolen. Amanda was waiting up. How bad? She asked. Bad. He tried to access the trust accounts. He failed? Completely. But he's getting desperate. She poured coffee, set a cup in front of me. Good. Desperate people make mistakes. They also do dangerous things. Then we move faster, push harder, end this before he escalates. I looked at my wife, this woman who'd spent 30 years managing chaos in schools, who understood human behavior better than most psychologists, who'd married me not for money or status, but because she liked who I was. "What are you thinking?" I asked. "I'm thinking we offer them a rope, then we watch them hang themselves." Over the next 2 days, we crafted the perfect trap, a letter, formal but conciliatory, suggesting a family mediation to resolve our differences, proposing a mutual sale agreement for one of the apartments, the smaller one, lower value. Proceeds split 3 ways: me, Cecilia, Samuel, a peace offering, a compromise. The hook was buried in the details. Any agent representing the sale must be in good standing with the state licensing board. Any financial management must be handled through a licensed escrow company. All documents subject to Amanda's trust approval. They'd never read the fine print. People like them never did. I had my lawyer draft it properly, then sent it via email and certified mail. Family reconciliation proposal in the subject line. Samuel called within an hour. "Philip, this is good. This is the right move." I thought about what you said. About family. Exactly. Family takes care of each other. This sale, it'll give you liquid capital for the other properties. Give Cecilia a commission. Give us all some breathing room. That's the idea. I'll have our lawyer review the paperwork, but if the terms are reasonable, we can move forward quickly. Market's hot right now. Take your time. Read it carefully. Will do. And Philip, thank you. This means a lot. He hung up. I looked at Amanda. He didn't even ask about the conditions, I said. He won't. He's too focused on getting access. We were right. 3 days later, Samuel sent back the signed agreement, Cecilia's signature beside his. Both of them so eager to get their piece that they'd missed the clauses that would destroy them. The agreement stipulated that Cecilia would represent the sale, but her license suspension meant she couldn't legally act as an agent. The moment they tried to proceed, they'd be in violation of state real estate law. The agreement required all funds to pass through an escrow company approved by Amanda's trust. I'd already contacted the escrow company and provided them with documentation of Samuel's attempted fraud. They'd flagged his name. Any transaction involving him would trigger additional scrutiny. Most importantly, the agreement included a clause requiring full financial disclosure from all parties. Something about tax planning and LLC structures. Standard language that Samuel glossed over, but that clause gave me legal standing to audit their finances, to uncover the depth of their debt, to document their motive for fraud. I submitted everything to my lawyer on Friday. By Monday, the investigation expanded. The State Real Estate Board received a formal complaint about Cecilia's ethics violations. Samuel's employer received documentation about the attempted fraud from their computers. The dominoes started falling faster. Cecilia's license moved from administrative leave to formal suspension pending investigation. Samuel's employer launched an internal review and placed him on unpaid leave. Their mortgage company received notice of potential fraud investigation. I didn't do any of it directly. I just provided documentation. Let the systems work. Let their own actions generate consequences. On Wednesday, Cecilia showed up at the villa. I'd been expecting her. The cameras caught her car pulling up. Just her this time, no Samuel. She sat in the driveway for 10 minutes before walking to the door. I opened it before she could knock. "Dad." Cecilia. She looked terrible. Hair pulled back messily, no makeup, yoga pants and an old sweatshirt. This was the daughter I remembered from college. Before ambition, and Samuel had polished her into someone else. "Can I come in?" I stepped aside. She walked through the house slowly, looking at Michael's things. My things now. "Uncle Michael always liked it here," she said. "I remember visiting when I was little. He'd take me down to the beach. Tell me stories about Mom. He was good at that. You were different then. Softer. People change. Not like this." She turned to face me. "Dad, please. This has gone too far. Samuel, he's not thinking straight. The debt, the pressure, he's made bad decisions." "And you?" I made one bad decision. I married him. Her voice broke. Everything else just followed. You chose to lie to me, to steal from me. I chose to try to help my husband, to save our life together. That's what you do when you love someone, right? You fight for them? Not like this. She sat on Michael's couch, put her head in her hands. I'm going to lose my license. Samuel's going to lose his job. We'll lose the house, everything. Because I tried to help. Because you tried to steal. You don't need it. The shout was sudden, raw. You don't. You've got your pension, your savings, Amanda's income. You don't need 3 properties. You don't need all this space. But we're drowning, and you're sitting on assets worth over $1 million doing nothing with them. So that makes it okay? To plot behind my back? To forge documents? To threaten me? I never threatened you. Samuel did. Samuel's scared. So am I said quietly. Scared of what my own daughter became. Scared that I raised someone who sees me as an obstacle instead of a father. Cecilia stood up. You want to know when that happened? When you started this whole revenge campaign instead of just talking to us, instead of calling me after you overheard us and saying, hey, this hurt me, this scared me, let's figure this out together. You went silent. You went cold. You turned me into an enemy. I went through the window before I opened the door, I said. And I heard my daughter planning to steal my inheritance. What conversation comes after that? The one where your daughter admits she's desperate. The one where she asks for help instead of taking it. She was crying now. But you didn't give me that chance. You just started collecting evidence and building cases and destroying us piece by piece. I protected what was mine. You destroyed what was ours. The silence stretched. Outside, the ocean rolled against the rocks, constant, inevitable. The agreement we signed, Cecilia said finally. The sale agreement. Samuel says there are clauses, things that'll make the sale impossible, that'll give you grounds to sue us. There are. So this was a trap. This was a test. You failed. She stared at me for a long moment. Then she walked to the door, stopped with her hand on the knob. Mom would be ashamed of you, she said. Your mom would have never done what you did. Cecilia left. I watched her drive away through the security cameras. Part of me wanted to call her back. The father part. The part that remembered teaching her to swim, to ride a bike, to be brave. But I'd been a firefighter for 33 years. I knew about point of no return. About the moment when structure is lost, and all you can do is evacuate and watch it burn. We were past that point. The storm forecast came in on Friday. Big one, moving down from Alaska. Heavy rain, high winds, possible coastal flooding. The kind of weather that made the villa's cliff-top position feel precarious instead of dramatic. I drove up Saturday morning to secure everything. Storm shutters, patio furniture inside, drain clearance. The ritual of preparation. It felt good, purposeful, honest work. Amanda arrived around noon with sandwiches and coffee. How's it looking? She asked. Solid. Michael built this place to handle weather. I took a sandwich. How'd things go at the lawyers? Documents are filed. Trust is ironclad. Everything we've done is documented and legal. She paused. He said we're in a good position if they escalate further. They will. How do you know? Because Samuel sent a text this morning. He wants to meet. Tonight, here. Amanda's expression hardened. What did you say? I told him the villa was going to be locked down for the storm. He said they'd come anyway. That we needed to resolve this face to face. That's a confrontation. Maybe a threat. Yeah. We should call the police. And say what? My son-in-law wants to talk? They're not breaking any laws by driving here. Philip, I know. But this is the end of it. They're coming to make one last push. And when they do, I'm going to close the door on them permanently. The storm rolled in around 4. Rain first, spattering against windows. then hammering. Wind picked up around 5, a steady moan that built to a roar. By 6, the ocean was invisible through sheets of water. The security camera alert came at 6:47 p.m. Samuel's truck pulling through the gate, Cecilia in the passenger seat. Both of them hunched against the weather as they ran to the door. I let them inside. They stood in the entryway, dripping, wild-eyed. Samuel's face was hard. Cecilia looked scared. "Living room," I said. "I'll get towels." Amanda was already there, sitting in Michael's reading chair. Calm, present, unmovable. When I came back, Samuel was pacing. "We need to talk about this agreement. These clauses, they're enforceable," I said. "Legal. And you signed them. Under false pretenses." "What false pretenses?" "I offered a sale. You accepted. The terms were clear." "The terms were a trap." "The terms required honesty, which neither of you provided." I set the towels down. "Cecilia can't act as agent because her license is suspended. You can't handle finances because you're under investigation for fraud. You lied about your financial disclosure. Every clause you violated on your own." Cecilia spoke up. "Dad, please. We'll walk away. We'll sign anything you want. Just don't let this destroy us." "I'm not destroying you. I'm just not saving you." "That's the same thing," Samuel exploded. "We're your family. Cecilia is your daughter. You're supposed to help us. I'm supposed to let you steal from me?" "We weren't stealing. We were managing my assets without my consent, accessing my properties without authorization, attempting financial fraud, harassing me, threatening me, filing false complaints." I counted on my fingers. "What would you call all that?" "Desperation!" Cecilia shouted over the wind. "We were desperate. We made mistakes. We're sorry." "Are you sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught?" The question hung there. Neither of them answered. "Here's what's going to happen," I said. "You're going to leave. You're going to stay away from all my properties. You're going to drop any claims, any schemes, any ideas about my inheritance. And I'm going to let the investigations play out, however they play out." "You could stop them," Samuel said. "You could withdraw complaints. Tell people it was a misunderstanding." "It wasn't a misunderstanding." "Then what do you want?" His voice was raw now. "What's your price? What'll it take for you to back off?" "Nothing. There's no negotiation here. Everyone has a price." "Maybe, but you can't afford mine." Samuel's face went from red to white. "You self-righteous jerk. You're enjoying this. You're getting off on watching us squirm." "I'm protecting what's mine." "You're alone in a house that should have been sold, sitting on money you don't need, while your own daughter loses everything. What kind of father does that?" "The kind whose daughter tried to steal from him." Samuel lunged forward. Not a punch, not exactly. More of a desperate reach for the folder on the coffee table, the one containing all our documentation. I'd left it there deliberately. He grabbed for it, slipped on the wet floor, went down hard against the coffee table edge. His shoulder hit with a crack. Everyone froze. Samuel lay there for a second, breathing hard, holding his shoulder. Then he got up slowly, carefully. His face was pale. "You're going to regret this," he said quietly. "Both of you." "Is that a threat?" Amanda asked, her voice level. "It's a fact." Samuel looked at Cecilia. "Come on, we're leaving." But Cecilia didn't move. She stared at me with something like realization. "You wanted this," she said softly. "You wanted us to come here, to escalate, to give you more evidence. This whole thing, the agreement, the meeting, everything. You've been collecting ammunition." "I've been protecting myself." "No." She shook her head. "You've been waging war, and you won, Dad. Congratulations. You beat your desperate, drowning daughter and her stupid husband. You must be so proud." She walked to the door. Samuel followed, cradling his shoulder. At the threshold, Cecilia turned back. "I hope it was worth it. I hope this villa and these apartments and your precious revenge keep you warm when you're old and alone and wondering why your daughter never visits." They left. The door slammed. Through the windows, I watched them struggle against the wind to their truck, watched the headlights disappear down the driveway. Amanda stood beside me. "That was ugly." "Yeah. Are you okay?" I didn't answer. Couldn't, really, because part of me wasn't okay. Part of me had just watched my daughter walk out, possibly forever. Part of me wondered if Cecilia was right, if I'd let revenge override everything else. But another part of me, the cold, clear part, knew I'd done what had to be done. "Philip?" Amanda touched my arm. "I'm okay," I said. "Or I will be." The storm howled louder, rain hammered the windows, and in that moment, the villa felt less like a sanctuary and more like a fortress. Empty, defensible. Mine. The storm blew through by morning. I woke up on Michael's couch, my couch, to pale sunlight and dripping trees. Amanda was already up, making coffee in the kitchen. "They left around 7 p.m., she said, checking her phone. "Security footage shows them getting in their truck, sitting there for maybe 10 minutes, then driving off. They were regrouping, or saying goodbye." She handed me coffee. "Cecilia was crying. You can see it on the camera." I didn't want to look at that footage, didn't want to see my daughter's face, but I would, eventually, because that's what this required. Documentation, evidence, cold proof. My phone buzzed. Leon. "Philip, I have news. Your daughter filed a formal complaint against you yesterday. Elder abuse, financial coercion, mental manipulation." "When yesterday?" "Timestamp says 4:30 p.m., about 2 hours before they came to see you." So they'd been building their own case. Coming to the villa had been their evidence gathering. They'd wanted me to be aggressive, intimidating, even forceful. Samuel's slip. Maybe not an accident. Maybe a setup for an injury claim. "What happens now?" I asked. "APS will investigate again. But you've already been cleared once, and you have documentation of their harassment. This looks like retaliation." Leon paused. "Philip, be careful. False complaints can backfire, but they can also delay things, tie you up in bureaucracy. That's what they want. Time to regroup, to find another angle. Probably." After I hung up, Amanda sat across from me. "They're not stopping." "No. So we don't either." I pulled up my laptop and opened the folder I'd been building for weeks. Everything. Every document, every photo, every recorded interaction. The timeline of their actions. The evidence of lies. The paper trail of attempted fraud. "I'm going to end this," I said. "Today." I spent the morning preparing packages. One for the State Real Estate Board with Cecilia's ethics violations. Not just the conflict of interest, but the unauthorized showings, the breach of client confidentiality, mine, the attempted sale of property she had no right to list. One for Samuel's employer with evidence of the attempted financial fraud, the use of company computers for personal business, the violation of client data protection. One for the Mortgage Licensing Board detailing Samuel's ethical breaches and potential criminal activity, and one master file for my lawyer, comprehensive and devastating. Each package was professional, factual, emotionally neutral, just evidence and documentation, the kind of case that was impossible to defend against because it was simply true. I sent everything by noon. Then I did something I'd been avoiding. I called my son, Marcus, Cecilia's older brother. He lived in Seattle, worked in tech, had always been distant from family drama. "Dad, what's wrong?" I told him everything, start to finish. The inheritance, the scheming, the escalation. He listened, without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. "Cece's in trouble," he said finally. "Yeah. And you're burying her." "I'm protecting myself." "Are you?" He sighed. "Dad, I love you. But this is scorched earth. You're not just protecting your property. You're ending her career, her marriage, her life as she knows it. She started this. She made a mistake, a big one. But does it deserve this? What would you have me do? Let her steal from me? Let Samuel threaten me? Just accept it because she's family? I'd have you talk to her, really talk, before it's too late to fix this. It's already too late. Then I'm sorry, Dad, for both of you. He hung up. I sat there with my cold coffee, thinking about what he'd said, about scorched earth, about the difference between protection and destruction. Amanda found me on the deck an hour later. The packages were received, she said. Boards have opened official investigations. This is happening. Good. Is it? She sat beside me. Philip, I love you, and I've supported everything we've done because they threatened us first. But Marcus is right. This is going to destroy them. They tried to destroy me. And now you're succeeding where they failed. What does that make you? A survivor. Or a weapon? She took my hand. I'm not saying stop. I'm saying think about what comes after, when this is over, when they're ruined and you're safe. What then? Then I have my properties, my peace, my life, and no daughter. The words hit hard, true and awful. She made her choice, I said. You both did. We sat in silence, watching the ocean. The storm had churned it up, waves higher than usual, more aggressive. The cliff edge felt more precarious in daylight. One wrong step, and you fell. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Philip Morrison? Yes? This is Detective Sarah Chen, Financial Crimes Division. I've been assigned to investigate attempted fraud allegations connected to you and your family. Can you come in for a statement? When? Today, if possible. We're moving fast on this. I gave Amanda a look. She nodded. I can be there in an hour. The detective was thorough. 3 hours of questions, reviewing documents, confirming timelines. I told her everything, showed her everything. She took notes without expression. Mr. Morrison, this is substantial. The attempted account access, the forged authorizations, the harassment. You've built a comprehensive case. I had to. I understand. But I need to ask, what outcome are you looking for here? Outcome? Criminal charges? Civil restitution? A restraining order? What do you want from this investigation? I thought about Cecilia's face at the door. I hope this villa keeps you warm when you're old and alone. I want them to stop, I said. That's all. Just stop. Will charges accomplish that? I don't know. She closed her notebook. Here's what I can tell you. Based on this evidence, we could pursue charges. Fraud, harassment, possibly conspiracy. Your son-in-law is looking at serious consequences. Your daughter less so, but she'd still face legal action. Or you could use this as leverage. Get them to sign agreements never to contact you, never to contest your property ownership, never to pursue any claims. Legally binding. Violation would trigger immediate charges. Why offer that option? Because I've been doing this job for 12 years. Family cases like this, they don't end well. Even when you win, you lose. And you look like someone who's already lost enough. I sat there in the fluorescent lights of the police station, holding everything I'd built. All the evidence, all the power, all the ammunition to destroy them completely. I need to think about it, I said. Take your time. We're not going anywhere. She stood. But Mr. Morrison, whatever you decide, decide for the right reasons. Not revenge, not anger, but what you actually want your life to look like a year from now. I drove back to the villa in heavy traffic, my mind churning. By the time I got there, evening was falling. Amanda was inside, reading. How'd it go? I told her about the detective's offer. What are you thinking? She asked. I'm thinking about fire behavior, about how you can extinguish a fire completely, or you can contain it. Both keep you safe. But one leaves more damage behind. Which do you want? I looked around Michael's living room. My living room. At the books, the windows, the view. At the life my brother had built and left to me. A legacy. A gift. What kind of person destroys their own family for a gift? I want them stopped, I said. Permanently. Legally. But maybe there's a way to do that without burning everything to the ground. Amanda smiled. There's my husband. I was wondering where he went. I spent Sunday drafting the agreement. Amanda helped. Her principal's mind perfect for translating complex situations into clear language. My lawyer reviewed it Monday morning, tightened the legal framework, made it unbreakable. By Monday afternoon, we had a document that would end this. The terms were simple. 1. Cecilia and Samuel would permanently forfeit any claim to my inheritance, properties, or estate. 2. They would have no contact with me or Amanda except in genuine emergencies. 3. They would cease all attempts to access, sell, manage, or interfere with my properties. 4. They would sign notarized affidavits admitting to their actions and accepting responsibility. 5. In exchange, I would not pursue criminal charges or professional board complaints beyond what had already been filed. The existing investigations would proceed. I couldn't stop those, but I wouldn't add to them, wouldn't testify if not required, would provide minimal cooperation. It was mercy, cold mercy, but mercy nonetheless. The alternative was prosecution, criminal fraud charges, professional license revocations, civil suits, everything the detective had outlined. I had my lawyer send it Tuesday morning, certified mail and email. 72 hours to respond. The call came Wednesday night. Philip. It was Cecilia. Her voice was hollow. We got the papers. And? Samuel wants to fight, says you're bluffing, that you won't actually press charges against your own daughter. Is he right? Long silence. I don't know anymore. I don't know who you are. I'm someone who got tired of being stolen from. Is that all you are now? Just hurt and anger? I'm also someone offering you a way out, a clean break. You walk away, I walk away. We both survive. Survive, she repeated. Not rebuild, not reconcile, just survive. That's all that's left. More silence. I could hear her breathing, shaky and uneven. Samuel won't sign, she said finally. He's convinced you're weak. That family ties will make you back down. Then Samuel's wrong. Yeah. A sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. He usually is. What about you? Me? Her voice broke. Dad, I'm $28,000 in debt. My license is suspended. My marriage is falling apart. My father won't speak to me. What do I have to negotiate with? The truth. Admit what you did. Accept responsibility. Move forward. And you'll what, forgive me? I'll stop hunting you. That's not the same thing. No, I said. It's not. She hung up. I sat there with the phone, feeling the weight of it, of everything. Amanda came downstairs. How bad? Samuel won't sign. Cecilia might. If they split up? Maybe. She's finally seeing him clearly. What happens if he refuses? I move forward with everything. Let the investigation play out. Testify if needed. Bury him completely. And Cecilia? She can sign separately. Save herself. Amanda nodded slowly. You're offering her a choice. Yeah. The kind of choice she didn't give you. Someone has to be better. The next 2 days were quiet. Storm quiet. That heavy silence before something breaks. Friday morning, my lawyer called. Philip, I received documents from Cecilia's attorney. She's signing, separately from Samuel. She's also filing for divorce. Fast. Apparently, she's been considering it for months. Your situation was the final push. He paused. She included a personal note. I'm not supposed to share it, but she wanted you to know she's sorry. Actually sorry. Not just caught sorry. I didn't respond. Couldn't. Philip? What about Samuel? No response. Radio silence. We're at the 72-hour deadline tomorrow at noon. After that, you're clear to move forward with everything. Okay. One more thing. Cecilia's asking if she can see you. After the papers are signed. Just once. No lawyers, no Amanda. Just you and her. Tell her I'll think about it. Saturday morning dawned clear. One of those coastal days where everything sparkles, where the ocean looks friendly instead of dangerous. I drove to the villa early, walking the property, checking storm damage, replacing a few fence rails. Honest work. My phone buzzed at 11:55 a.m. My lawyer. Samuel just signed. 5 minutes before deadline. He agreed to everything. Why? His employer fired him. His mortgage company is pursuing charges. He's got bigger problems than you now. He needs this settled so he can focus on defense. So he didn't sign because he was sorry. No, he signed because he lost. That's enough. The papers were finalized by Monday. Notarized, filed, legally binding. Cecilia and Samuel Morrison had no claim to my property, my estate, or my life. It was over, except for one thing. Tuesday afternoon, I met Cecilia at a coffee shop downtown. Neutral ground, public but private enough. She looked different, thinner, older somehow, like the last month had aged her 5 years. Thanks for coming, she said. The papers are signed. We don't have to do this. I know, but I needed to say something. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. I'm sorry, not because I got caught, not because I lost, but because I hurt you, because I betrayed you, because I let greed and desperation turn me into someone I don't recognize. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Cecilia? That I forgive you? That we can go back to how things were? No, I know we can't. She looked at her coffee. I just wanted you to know that I understand now. What I did. What it cost. I'm going to therapy, working on myself, trying to figure out how I got here. Good. Samuel and I are done. Officially. He's not a good person. I knew that, somewhere. I just didn't want to see it. Sometimes we don't. She looked up at me. Were you ever going to go through with it? The charges, the prosecution, all of it? I thought about that. Honestly, I don't know. I was hurt enough to, angry enough to. Whether I would have actually done it, we'll never know. Marcus said you were waging war. I was protecting myself. Those aren't mutually exclusive, Dad. She smiled sadly. You taught me that, actually. When I was little and that bully in 3rd grade kept taking my lunch money. You told me to stand up for myself, to not be a victim, to fight back hard enough that they'd leave me alone. I remember. I'm the bully now, and you fought back. You won. She stood. I hope someday we can talk again. Really talk. But until then, thank you. For giving me a way out. You didn't have to. She left before I could respond. I sat there with my cold coffee, watching her walk away through the window. My daughter. Still my daughter, somehow, despite everything. I drove back to the villa as sunset painted the ocean gold and red. Amanda was waiting on the deck. How'd it go? She apologized. Meant it, I think. What now? Now we live. We enjoy what we have. We move forward. She took my hand. No more war? No more war. We stood there watching the sun sink into the Pacific, the light fading from gold to amber to deep blue. The ocean rolled steady and eternal. My brother's house, my house, solid and secure behind us. I thought about fire behavior one more time, about how you fight it, control it, extinguish it, about how sometimes the best victory isn't total destruction of the threat. Sometimes it's just surviving, standing afterward in the ashes and saying, I'm still here, I was still here, the villa was still mine, the apartments were still mine, my life, my choices, my boundaries, all still mine. And that, in the end, was enough. 3 days later, the call came. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Then something made me pick up. "Philip Morrison?" A woman's voice, official. "Yes. This is Jennifer Park from the State Real Estate Board. We've concluded our investigation into Cecilia Brooks. Given her cooperation, her signed admission of wrongdoing, and the fact that you've indicated you won't pursue further complaints, we're issuing a formal reprimand and mandatory ethics training. Her license will be reinstated in 6 months pending completion." Okay. However, Samuel Brooks is a different matter. His financial fraud attempts and professional misconduct are being forwarded to criminal prosecution. I wanted you to be aware. She hung up. I sat there processing. Cecilia would survive, rebuild. Samuel wouldn't. Fair, I decided. Fair enough. That afternoon, I signed the final rental agreements for both apartments. Good tenants, stable income. The villa would stay mine. No sale, no listing, just a place to go when I needed to see the ocean and remember my brother. Amanda and I had dinner on the deck that night. Salmon, salad, a bottle of wine we'd been saving. The sunset was spectacular, one of those Pacific Northwest shows that made you believe in beauty. "What are you thinking?" Amanda asked. "I'm thinking it's over, really over." "And how does that feel?" Honest answer? Hollow. Like I won, but I'm not sure what I won. You kept what was yours. You protected us. You stopped them from destroying you. She reached over and squeezed my hand. "That's not nothing, Philip." "No, it's not nothing." We finished dinner as the light faded. I collected the dishes, brought them inside, started washing them by hand even though we had a dishwasher. The simple rhythm of it felt good, real, grounding. My phone buzzed one more time, text message from Leanne. "Heard the board decision. You did good. Stay safe." I smiled, put the phone down, finished the dishes. Outside, full dark had fallen. The ocean was invisible now, just sound, the steady crash of waves against rocks. It had been there before I arrived. It would be there after I left. Indifferent, eternal, honest. A knock at the door. Amanda and I looked at each other. 10 p.m. No one came to the villa at 10 p.m. I checked the security cameras on my phone. Samuel's truck in the driveway. Samuel and someone else, bigger, heavier, face turned away from the camera. My pulse jumped. "Amanda, go to the bedroom, lock the door, call 911. Philip, now." She went. I heard the bedroom door lock. Then I moved through the house, turning on lights, making myself visible. No element of surprise for them. Another knock, harder. I opened the door with my phone in my hand, recording. Samuel. He looked terrible, unshaven, eyes red, desperate. The man with him was huge, maybe 6'4", with the cold eyes of someone accustomed to intimidation. "We need to talk," Samuel said. "The papers are signed. We have nothing to talk about. You destroyed my life. You tried to steal mine. I lost everything. My job, my wife, my house, my reputation, everything." His voice was rising. "And you're sitting here in your brother's villa playing King of the Mountain. Leave, now. I'm calling the police." "You think the police scare me? I'm already facing charges. I've got nothing left to lose." The big man stepped forward. "Mr. Morrison, my name is Carter Phillips. I'm Mr. Brooks's attorney. We're here to discuss a settlement." At 10 p.m., with threats, no lawyers present. Samuel's under considerable stress. He made poor decisions. "But we'd like to offer—" "I don't care what you'd like to offer. You're trespassing. Leave." Samuel pushed past his so-called attorney. "You self-righteous jerk! You act like you're so moral, so pure, but you're just a bitter old man who can't stand to see anyone else succeed. I stood and watched you try to steal from me. That's not about your success. That's about your crime. Crime! I was trying to save my family. By destroying mine!" The shout echoed. Somewhere behind me, I heard Amanda on the phone with dispatch. Yes, 2 men. One is my husband's son-in-law. They're threatening him. Samuel heard it too. His face went from red to white. You're calling the cops on me? After everything? After everything, yes. He lunged. Not a smart move, not calculated, just rage and desperation. The attorney grabbed him, held him back. Samuel struggled, shouting, "You'll regret this, I'll make sure, I'll ruin you, I'll tell everyone, I'll—" Blue lights appeared at the end of the driveway. 2 patrol cars coming fast. Samuel saw them. Something broke in his face. All the anger drained out, left him hollow. He sagged in the attorney's grip. "I just wanted," he said quietly, "to not be drowning anymore." "Then you should have asked, not stolen." The police arrived, took statements, removed Samuel and his attorney, filed reports. It took 2 hours. By the time they left, it was past midnight. Amanda came out from the bedroom. "Is it done?" "The police said they'll add attempted intimidation to his charges. His attorney will probably be disbarred for facilitating this." "Yeah, it's done." "Are you okay?" "No, but I will be." We went to bed, but I couldn't sleep. Around 2 a.m., I got up and went to the deck. The ocean was loud in the darkness, waves hitting rocks, the eternal rhythm. I thought about Michael standing here every morning, about what he'd seen in this view, peace, emptiness, both. "I hope I honored your gift," I said to the night, to my brother, to whoever was listening. The ocean didn't answer, just kept rolling, indifferent, eternal, honest. At dawn, I made coffee and watched the sunrise. First light hitting the water, turning it from black to gray to silver to blue. A new day, a clean day. My phone buzzed. Text from Cecilia. "Heard about last night? I'm sorry, for everything, for him, for me, for all of it." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "I know. Take care of yourself." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, "You too, Dad." I put the phone away. Amanda found me an hour later, still on the deck. She brought her coffee, sat beside me. We watched the ocean in silence. "What now?" she asked finally. "Now we live. We enjoy this. We move forward." "Just like that?" "Just like that." She nodded. "Okay then." Around noon, Dorothy Wu called from the HOA. "Philip, I heard about last night. Are you all right?" "I'm fine." "Good. Listen, the board wants you to know. You're welcome here. You've been an exemplary owner. Whatever happened with your family, that's between you and them. We're here if you need anything." "Thank you, Dorothy. That means a lot." After I hung up, I looked around the villa. Michael's place. My place. The inheritance that had caused so much damage and revealed so much truth. I could sell it. Walk away from all the memories, good and bad. Start fresh somewhere else. Or I could stay, make it mine, fill it with new memories, better ones. I thought about fire behavior one last time, about how you fight it, control it, survive it. About how the goal isn't to erase the burn. The goal is to build something new in the ashes. "Amanda," I said, "how do you feel about keeping this place? Actually living here? Making it ours?" She looked around. At the view, the space, the light. "I think that sounds perfect." "Yeah?" "Yeah." That afternoon, we started moving things. Small stuff first. Clothes, books, personal items. Making the villa feel lived in, making it home. As sunset approached, I stood on the deck one more time, thinking about Cecilia, about Samuel, about betrayal and revenge and the cost of both. I'd won. That was undeniable. I'd protected what was mine, punished those who'd tried to steal it, drawn boundaries so clear that crossing them had destroyed careers and marriages.